Tech Out Loud, where three college guys just talk about tech. This is the news for the week. Someone give me the date.
March 2nd.
Well, I mean, it's the news
right.
for the news of February week 26. Yeah, this week was February 26th. MWC week.
Oh, it's leap year. It's like
Yeah,
kind of a,
leap
leap year.
Get an extra day in there.
But and we have Alex back today. He wasn't there last week. No.
Reasons unknown.
Reasons to know. As always, I'm Andrew Jane, joined by
Christopher Walton.
I'm Alex West.
and MWC was obviously the highlight of this week, and I have to concur, it was the best show ever, but there was a lot of crap in the show. What are you guys looking at? Shut up and take my money. I've seen that photo so many times on The Verge.
Oh, that just seems what Apple's whole mantra is.
Shut up and take my money. Well,
here's the iPhone 4S. Though. Just give me my money.
Apple wasn't at MWC. Let's not talk about Apple yet.
All right. We'll say that for later.
I think the real winners at MWC was HTC. They came in strong. They came in with a brand,
which is surprising because you used to talk, poorly about HTC.
Well, I was an HTC. You guys know.
Pulled out of their stock.
Yeah, I was an HTC shareholder for like 2 years.
So are we sensing some bias here?
That they're back?
Yeah.
No, they're like literally back. Yeah. I pulled out because they lost their focus. And releasing 30 phones a month? Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah. It was a good year. No,
yeah.
And then Samsung average? Because I know they put out a lot of crap.
Yeah, they do.
But the difference between Samsung and HTC is like Samsung puts out a lot of phones, but then they brand them all Galaxy.
It's funny. I thought HTC was when I first heard about HTC, they were only on lock phones, right?
Yeah, they were only unlocked phones.
And they were like really cool phones.
They were super cool phones. That's how I invested in them.
And now that they're like, it's
they're ugly.
I remember where the HTC
preloaded software.
Yeah.
What was it? The Hero.
The Hero was amazing.
Yeah, that was a really cool Android
phone. The Touch Pro 2, the Touch Diamond 2 was brilliant.
There's another.
The Legend, the Desire. They made the Nexus 1.
Yeah.
They were on top of the game, and then all of a sudden they came up with all these crappy phones. But back to the Samsung thing, comparison with Samsung. It's like Samsung makes all these phones, but then they brand them all Galaxy. Like, you have one definitive brand. So, like, when a consumer hears Galaxy, they kind of think of Samsung.
I thought they lost the Galaxy because... No. The Android phones lost Galaxy, right? Because they're switching. Because they're since they bought Nokia, right?
Yeah.
I thought Google had a portion of Nokia.
They bought Motorola.
Oh, Motorola. So I thought we're going to start seeing more Motorola heavy-oriented phones.
The deal just closed, so we're not going to see anything until maybe later this year.
Okay, so you think that's why they're trying to push the Galaxy line?
Maybe, but like Samsung's made the last two Nexuses. They made the Nexus S and they made the Galaxy Nexus. So obviously Google loves Samsung, and Samsung's Galaxy S2 is the best-selling Android phone of all time.
Well, it's got to hurt a little bit since Google bought Motorola instead of some Samsung. So it's like our top. We do so much good business with you, but we're gonna buy a different company instead.
And we're gonna stick with them.
Yeah, it's a slap to Samsung, but at the end of the day, Samsung can overpower Motorola any day. Like, the problem, this is why Nokia never got into Android, because if you get into Android, you have to compete with Samsung, and you do not want to compete with Samsung. They can make everything in their own factories. They make their own RAM, they make their own processor, they make their own screen, they make their own radios. They never have to outsource. Where HTC, they can only make the shell, but they have to get their chips from Qualcomm, they have to get their radios from Qualcomm, they have to get their screens from Samsung, they have to get their camera sensors from Sony. Where Samsung makes everything themselves.
So they're borrowing all this hardware to build their own phones.
Licensing.
It's almost where everyone does. I think Apple does the same thing.
No, yeah, Apple does the exact same thing. The cameras are from Sony, the processors are from Samsung, the screen is from LG.
Mm-hmm. And they're built by Simcom.
And they're built by Foxconn.
Yeah,
Foxconn, not Simcom.
Yeah.
Last week we talked about the little factory.
Yeah, we talked about the little factories while you were gone.
It was
depressing.
Oh.
The only companies that build their own stuff is Samsung, Sony to an extent, and Nokia.
Dell. I'm pretty sure Dell, when they made their crappy phones.
No, well, Dell outsourced to LG to make their screens.
And that kind of failed.
That's about it, right? That was the only thing. Everything else.
And Qualcomm for their processors.
Really? I thought they would use their own processor.
Dell doesn't make processors.
Oh, no. Yeah. That's true.
But you do not want to compete against Samsung. Samsung is a monster, and you can't compete against that.
Yeah.
But HTC is on the right track with this. They're calling it the One series, and have you seen the style of it? Someone give me a pen and someone give me.
Where's your hipster notebook?
Yeah.
What's in your bag?
What's in my bag? This hipster notebook.
Welcome to the other one, with the
black
bird.
flip over.
Yeah, the wolf.
It's $20, and I don't want to waste it.
Actually, it's a lot cheaper than that on Amazon.
Is it?
Yeah.
You should order them on Amazon Prime.
It was. I was guaranteed.
This is how they stylized one, and then they put like a letter, like the 1X or the 1V or the 1S.
Okay, I'm going to tell you now. That looks like a 017E.
But you get the idea, right?
Yeah.
Like, they want to capitalize what Samsung did with Galaxy, but one. So if you see an HTC One, it's supposed to be their phone almost pure. Almost pure. They de-bloated Sense, so Sense is actually pretty good now. I can't believe I'm saying that. But they de-bloated Sense.
Because I remember you do not like Sense.
I hate Sense. Hate.
Same thing. Sense is the same thing as TouchWiz, right?
But back in the early days, Sense was the bomb because Android was freaking ugly when it first came out. That's why the Hero was so revolutionary. It changed Android. Sense changed Android. But now that Android has come so far, we don't need Sense anymore. So that's why I thought Sense is useless now, and it just adds bloat.
We don't need Sense, and we definitely don't need
TouchWiz.
No, Motorola Blur.
They're not calling it that anymore.
Moto Blur.
No, they used to call it Moto Blur, and then they're now calling it Motorola Specific Enhancements.
That's a long name.
Yeah, that's the point. Nobody wants to repeat it. But Sense is great. The HTC X is their high-end phone that's coming to AT&T. In Europe, it will have a quad-core processor, but when it comes to America, it will have a dual-core because AT&T wants LTE. But it actually might be better with a dual-core because it uses Snapdragon's S4 versus the Tegra 3. We don't know if the Tegra 3 is really better than the Snapdragon S4, but I'll definitely fill you guys in that later. Geek talk. Sorry for all you non-processor nerds out there. I'm one. The 1S is coming to T-Mobile. It's more reserved. It's a 4.3-inch phone with a QHD screen and Super AMOLED. It is made of complete metal that they called ionic arc anodizing, where they basically bathe the metal in plasma.
Okay.
And it just makes a really nice finish.
That's interesting.
And speaking of the 1X, going back to the 1X a little, the 4.71 has a 720 screen and is made of a complete polycarbonate shell like the Nokia Lumias.
Here's your moleskin. $12.
What was the list price? Because that's how much is in Barnes & Noble.
$17.95.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, Track. I'm ordering my moleskins from Amazon now. But I feel like you guys don't even care about HTC.
I mean, we do. I mean,
Yeah.
you care more though because you profit so much from them. And
okay.
I mean, we
broke
people.
We've never owned an HTC product
or any stock that's
Yep.
so much.
I mean, I would never invest in them again, but they've reached their peak. But they're on the right direction. They really took their criticism on 2010 to heart. Instead of releasing 30 phones with 30 different names, they're going to stick with this one brand.
I mean, they had a lot of criticism too about their updates through.
Yeah, because
Google.
they had 30 phones. How can you update 30 phones?
But not only that,
that's
they were going to
impossible.
charge for certain updates. If it wasn't if it wasn't a software update, if it was more of a feature update.
No, that was the carrier that wanted that.
That was the carrier. I thought it was
the one
Samsung.
carrier. No, Samsung. It's partly both because Samsung really has no incentive to put the updates, but enough people wanted the updates on their Samsung phones, but T-Mobile wanted a way to make money. So it's kind of both. But HTC has an okay track record of updating their phones. It's just that they had 30 phones, so they couldn't update them all. So HTC's great. And then I guess there was a slew of crappy Huawei phones. Huawei.
Well, wasn't there Quad-Centennial Core?
The Ascend.
Yeah, the Ascend P.
P.
The Ascend P, yeah. Isn't that what they called it?
I just remember the Ascend. I don't think they added a P to it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's a P. It uses a quad-core chip that they call as the fastest smartphone in the world.
4G? No, it wasn't 4G. It was 3G.
Yeah, it's 3G. Because it's not coming to America.
I thought it... Which one do they have out now? It was for Metro PCS. It was the first...
It's definitely not the Ascend.
No, it was the Android phone. One of the first Android phones for Metro PCS.
That was an HTC phone.
No, HTC hasn't done a phone
was
for
a
Metro PCS yet.
It was a
Samsung?
It was Huawei.
Yeah.
Huawei in America is very low cost. Like, most phones you see from Huawei are prepaid here.
And it was something major for Metro PCS to get
Yeah,
back in its day.
Yeah, I mean, now... Samsung's a lot on
Samsung,
PCS?
like, I love Samsung as a great success story because remember a couple years ago when everybody hated Samsung? Like there was that stigma of Samsung, like, oh, I don't want a Samsung. It's Korean. It's gonna break. But
Like,
now everybody.
That was
wants
the same thing when I
Samsung.
want, like, Sony had their little Walkman phones. Those were so cheap and plastic.
But they were good. I like those.
I hated them because like look how like heavily we use our phones. Alex's phone's got a lot of scratches and dents. Your phone has like almost half the metal.
The chrome on the volume buttons are off.
Yeah. I mean, think of if that was a plastic phone, your buttons.
No, I would actually like plastic more because like
it
won't wear out.
It's plastic.
Yeah,
But there's 2 degrees of plastic. There's Samsung plastic and then there's Nokia plastic.
I don't know. I want like Gorilla Plastic.
No, have you felt the Lumias?
I know. I haven't felt the Lumia yet.
When the Lumia comes to AT&T, you need to hold it in your hand, and you will never believe that's plastic.
I think I will. That'll be the first time I'll step foot in an AT&T store since.
Because if you hold a
iPhone 3.
Samsung plastic, it's kind of creaky. But if you hold a Lumia plastic, that thing can jump. You can drop that thing from miles away.
When did the Quickfire come out?
Like 2006.
Yeah, that's the last time I stepped foot in an AT&T store.
I'm gonna videotape your quest to AT&T.
My unboxing video. Drop it.
But yeah, there's Samsung and Nokia plastic, totally different levels. But I love that you mentioned Sony Ericsson because I was going to want to talk about Sony next.
I know you did.
I really want the Xperia so bad. They announced the Xperia P and the Xperia U.
Well, what about their 800? This is the Symbian phone.
Oh, we'll get to Nokia later.
Oh, okay.
But Sony had the Xperia S that they showed off at CES that I was smitten by. You know how much I love that phone.
You like a lot of phones.
Didn't Sony decide to drop their phone line?
You mean Ericsson?
Yeah.
They bought out Ericsson.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now it's
Ericsson was making crappy phones.
Yeah, because Sony made great phones back in the day. Ericsson made great phones back in the day. But for some reason, both of them
Put them-
together.
I remember my Samsung Glide, that texting phone. Like you could send 5 text messages, and then you had to like shut down the phone and restart because it would just lock up. It was a terrible phone. And also Sony. Oh, remember those Palm Pre type phones where they were all like texting phone oriented? They were like really big and bulky, and you would slide it up, and you would just like have full
Or they're
quarter
weirdly
keyboard.
shaped like squares.
Yeah.
This is the Xperia S that they announced at CES. That I was totally in love with.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
'cause
wow.
it has the
even has the Sony
see-through LED
That
light.
bar right there is a transparent bar. You can see through
Dude,
it,
phone.
and it's the phone's antenna.
Oh, okay.
You think? What if have they done a test if someone holds it right there?
Yeah, it's plastic. It doesn't matter. It's not metal. And then let me give you a rundown. The Xperia S is their super high end one, 720 screen, 12 megapixel camera, 16 gigs of onboard storage. The Xperia P is a little smaller, 4 inches, QHD, and an 8 megapixel. And then the U is the super low end, that about the same size as an iPhone.
Okay.
But
Oh,
they
yeah,
all
3 point.
but 3.5 lower resolution and 5 megapixel camera. But they all have this exact same shape. They all have the translucent bar. But what I don't get is the lowest end has this cool thing where it utilizes the bar, where if you're looking at a photo, it takes the most predominant color of that photo and the bar glows that color.
And they didn't add that to either?
They didn't add it to the high end ones.
That would have been nice.
The very low end ones light up with notifications, and like when you're watching like a video, it lights up depending on the ambient light in the video.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, like I want one because it's a cool engineering feat, but I don't think I'll ever get one because I don't like. Xperia has kind of worn off. I'm the biggest Xperia fanboy, if you guys know. I had the Xperia X1, and then they just kind of lost it.
But if you were to get one, which line would you go for? The top
The
of
S,
the line?
yeah, definitely. I'm gonna go for the S.
Oh, I want the bottom line one with the bar that lights up. But actually, yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm surprised.
But let me show you HTC's low end. Not to get back to HTC, but the HTC One V is their low end phone, but it looks so nice. I think it's my favorite design out of all of their phones, and I haven't been able to say that about HTC in a really long time. And the internet is so crappy here that the picture is not loading.
Actually,
My
I'm doing
computer's
pretty
fine.
well right now.
Yeah. It's your turn now to suffer.
Yeah.
Suffer because I just streamed a video.
That's his fault. You took all the bandwidth.
I'm sorry, I'm a bandwidth hog.
But this is the HTC V. This is their low end phone.
That's a pretty
simplistic.
I don't know if I like the
actually.
butt chin though.
The bottom.
I love the chin. It was defined the hero. It defined the legend, and those were their best looking phones in my opinion. This whole thing is made of metal and matte, and this is supposed to be a low end phone.
I like matte, like matte phones, just matte cars in general.
But like you take the Xperia U, which has that beautiful shape, and you take this, which is really, I guess it's taste, but I think it's beautiful. And they're low end phones. Are we seeing like this age where like the low end does not mean cheap anymore?
I think it still means cheap and plastic. Because I used to.
You calling this cheap and plastic?
It's metal.
You're calling the Xperia U cheap and plastic.
Well, that's never gonna hit America.
Yeah, it is.
Really?
Yes, they're selling unlocked in their Sony stores.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Unlocked.
Unlocked.
How much is that?
How much is that?
Like 300 max.
That's actually not bad.
No.
That's the point.
But it's running what?
Android 2.3.7.
So could you put
With the ice cream sandwich update coming.
Coming.
$300
I'm happy, though.
unlocked?
And then this HTC phone is about 280 unlocked, and it comes with ice cream sandwich out of the box.
That's not bad. 280 unlocked. I don't know, you're enticing.
These are low end phones, Chris. Like, are we seeing?
You're switching him.
Damn you.
Are we seeing this proliferation where like these low end phones don't mean cheap and plastic anymore?
I don't know, because I mean, I remember the low end phones back in the day were the cheap little brick phones, but have we reached a new level of low end?
That's what like.
Because back in the day, remember, like $10 used to get you further. Now 20 is the new 10.
Yeah, but then it also goes the other way. Kind of, yeah. Like back then, we go to the arcade and put 25 cents in a machine, and now it's $1 on the App Store.
Yeah.
But I judge it like this. I think low end today is the 3GS. That's super low end, right?
I don't know if it's low end. I just think production quality has changed.
You don't think that 3GS is low end?
The iPhone?
Yeah, the iPhone 3GS.
Oh, 3GS low end. What? I mean, my dad's using a 3GS right now, and he's keeping up with my iPhone 4. I mean, now if you look at Alex's 3G, that's a low end.
But you can't compare the 3G because they're not selling 3G. But I'm saying you get an iPhone 3GS unlocked is about $250, and this HTC V, a brand new phone, $280 unlocked, and then the Xperia U, $300 unlocked.
I mean, if you took out what we didn't know about, iPhones, like how they lose support once the new one comes out, so then like the 4 would be in the bottom and be like the new 3G. I think I would get the HTC phone.
No, that's the thing. That's the thing. Like when the next iPhone comes out, they're going to drop the 4 to the low end, right? If the 4,
the 3GS is just
but the
drop.
4 still does a lot of great work.
No, exactly. That's the point. The 4 looks high end. It performs high end. If they pose that as their low end, they're gonna kill everybody.
I think if the 4, because the 4, it potentially when it comes the 5 or the 5 really comes out, will be the first iPhone that no matter what, that's still a decent phone to use. Camera quality, video quality, operating system, the OS, it still works. Everything's smooth.
Yeah, but like not just that, but a 3GS today looks really old, right?
It does. It still looks like the 3G model.
Yeah, you look at the 3GS. You look at the 3GS, and then you're like, "Oh, that's so old tech." But even like a year from now, I think the iPhone 4 is still a beautiful device.
I mean, if you look at the 4 and the 4S, you really can't tell a difference.
It's not. There's no difference, but the industrial design is really nice, and it looks high end.
It does.
And I think
very high end.
They're already taking that turn of making it that low end product that's still great because it's $99 on contract now with AT&T.
Yeah, but think about now the 3GS is free. So come iPhone 5, if the 4 drops to free on contract, they're going to kill any chance that these low cost alternatives are out there.
Everybody will have an iPhone 4 just because of that price.
Exactly.
Free.
For free.
For a great product.
I can see anywhere from $100 to maybe $50.
No, I think it'll drop.
It'll drop free.
You can go free?
Mark my words. When the new iPhone comes out, the iPhone 4S will drop to $99, like the iPhone 4 is now. They'll make a low cost version with only 8 gigs, so an 8 gig 4S, and then
you think you can handle that? I mean, how much is Siri? When Siri's preloaded, does that take a lot of space?
No, nothing.
Oh, nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was.
Because everything Siri does is in the cloud. Okay. So
the 3GS actually was $49 for one point.
Yeah, it was.
And then it dropped.
I remember it was $50 for
99
because
cents.
How could you justify buying a 3GS when $50 more can give you the 4?
Well, at the time, it was the iPhone 4 was $100 and something.
Oh, when the iPhone 4 was new.
When the iPhone 4 was new.
Yeah.
But they did. But when the iPhone 4 was new, they dropped the price of the 3GS, but they didn't sell the 3G
So the 4
anymore.
would probably be free, and the 4S
Right.
would be 50.
The 4S would be 100. They're not.
You don't think it'd be 50?
They're not going to sell the 4S for 50.
I could see the 4 being a 50 before a lot longer before it would be free.
No,
I think until a 6 comes out, the 4 would be free.
the 4 is going to be free next.
Really?
Because it's $100 now. They're not going to drop the price $50 and call it a day. They want to Apple. You know Apple. They're going to disrupt the market by putting it free.
Free would really just put a hole in the market.
Yeah, like do you know anybody who wanted an iPhone, a beautiful iPhone 4 for free?
I mean,
That-
and
they'll
it's-
jump- people will jump on
I'm
that.
at no stretch an Apple fan, but if they put an iPhone 4 for free, that'll
and
kill.
like Flickr, like they did a report, like the number one type of camera that their photos were being taken by were iPhone 4s
Yeah.
last year. Like that was the pocket camera. So even if you use that as an iTouch, which is it's leaps and bounds better than an iTouch.
Because in today's specs, I mean, it's still pretty competitive. The processor might be outdated, but that doesn't matter because the OS is customized for it. It's optimized for it. It runs fluid. The camera is a great camera. And the screen, nobody's been able to even compete with a Retina display. Except for these 720 screens. These 720p screens are pretty
These
brilliant.
AMOLED screens, that Captivate AMOLED screen's pretty nice.
It's Pentel, though.
Well, your normal
It's still nice.
consumer will jump all over.
I
the
think it's
iPhone
still
4.
a lot better than.
No, when you see Pentel, you can't ever. If you notice a Pentel versus non-Pentel, you can never buy a Pentel again.
Really?
Ever.
Mm.
Because the Pentel, they trick you by not having any red pixels in their subpixels. So if you look at white on black, it looks so jagged and awful.
It's almost like going to a the Best Buy or whatever and seeing like this beautiful picture, but then they have it to like store mode. And it's the version,
Yeah.
And then you said the home mode. It's like, oh, why did I get this crappy TV?
Yeah,
Where's that TV where I just bought?
exactly.
No bezel.
No bezel.
Are there any TVs with no bezel? I'm throwing my money, Chris. Shut up and take my money to any company who can make me a TV without a bezel.
Without a bezel.
There is one though, isn't it? What is it? Not LG. It might be Samsung.
I don't know. Have you seen the new thin ones in person
I have.
I saw
at
the
Best Buy?
Yeah, I saw those. Those are really, really nice, but they still have a raised bezel. I either want a flushed bezel or no bezel at all. Is that
What
impossible
bezel
to
are
do?
you talking? Like, let me see.
He wants it seamless. No.
Just bring up a
sides.
regular flat
I
screen.
either want... No, this is not even a good example. Like, I want like either a flat bezel where you don't have to go in to the TV, or I don't want a bezel at all.
He
think
kind
you
of likes
have
the
to-
MacBook Pro. See how it still has this here, but it's completely flat. Nothing sticking out. No
But I don't
piece
even
of
want
plastic.
this. I don't even want this. I want it completely flat.
Well, he has plastic on top of his.
No, like, but at the end
It
of
has a
here,
little-
there's this little thing.
You
Like,
don't
Well,
want
that's-
them- I
that's
think
just because
that's just
that's rubber.
holding the screen in.
yeah, okay, but
You want like a free floating screen.
yes, exactly.
Then
That's
go for a projector.
because projectors aren't good quality.
They are getting better though.
They
They're-
are.
Okay, they're getting better, but like still, in sunlight they suck,
I mean, yeah.
and that's the majority
Close
when
your
I'm
window.
watching my stuff.
I mean, get those auto, closed windows.
Would you buy a Galaxy Beam?
No, that's a terrible phone.
Exactly, with a terrible projector.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would get it I would go get like those new LG ones, or I would get if I had enough money, I'd go buy a Sony 3D Cinema 4K projector.
I don't like projector. I like having my screen visible.
I like
in front of me.
projectors because it gives you that movie theater feel.
I
I
like
still
the-
feel like you can get good quality
You-
from a projector.
You know my eyes aren't that great, so
Exactly. So what is the point of a bezel if you can't see?
No, because I can see the bezel and it pisses me off.
And he's gonna be blind. Like, damn bezel, just like feeling it up. I can feel you.
For all those who don't know, my prescription is -8. That was 2 years ago. These new prescriptions are thicker than -8, so I don't know what they are now.
And it is just worsening.
They're
So
But I want a free floating TV, and I want it to be an LCD or an OLED because it's just more crisper. It's definitely a lot more crisp than like a projector. It's like going from an iPhone 4's Retina display and seeing how many pixel density in that, even though it's a terribly tiny screen. Seeing the pixels packed in there, and then going back to like a Dell Streak with a WVGA resolution on a 5-inch screen. It's like it makes me want to puke.
It does.
And you're talking about bad eyesight. Just
I remember like going from like using. I had to like fix my grandparents' phone. It was an LG Shine.
oh my god,
Oh wow.
that's like a QVGA screen.
Oh my goodness, that screen is just terrible. Like, talk about a phone. I mean, you know,
Is it QVGA? Tell me if I'm right.
I'm looking now. LG. Should I just go to the website? Yes, we will.
It's either QVGA or HVGA, but I'm betting QVGA.
I don't know. I mean, the whole. I think it was marketed towards women because it was a mirror. That was the first mirror phone.
So you can look at yourself.
Yeah, that was the
And
first.
then when you turn it
Oh,
on.
you don't think the rhyme was targeted towards women?
Isn't the Rhyme the one with the free Beats headphones? That's the Resound.
The Resound. Worst name ever.
Resound?
Resound.
I think it's not that bad. I mean, I've heard a lot worse. Cyborg.
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 Oh yeah, Motorola was a no-show at the show.
Oh, really?
So was Apple, but Apple never shows up to
Yeah,
the show.
Apple never shows up.
Because they got their own show going on.
But let's talk about Nokia because you wanted to bring up the 808 so much earlier.
No, I saw your photos that you were gawking over. The 41 megapixel, like, whoa. I can't.
Okay.
By the way, it is QVGA.
Knew it.
LG Shine,
Knew
QVGA.
it. Knew it.
Oh, my
See,
grandparents.
I have like a database of phones in my mind. The Nokia 808 Pureview. Let's talk about that. It's 41 megapixels,
So the noise.
but it doesn't take 41 megapixel pictures. It oversamples and outputs the picture at 3, 5, or 8 megapixels.
But at once, it was a 41 megapixel.
Yeah, at once it was a. They give
Have you had the option to look at a 41 megapixel?
They give you this option called creative mode where it allows you to take a 38 megapixel photo, but those look so crappy and they look like ass.
Really?
Yeah, they're so bad. Because the more megapixels you have, the more noise you get. And the more noise you get, the crappier a picture
Then how
is.
come it's 41 megapixels yet it seems
Because
perfect?
Because it oversamples.
Okay.
You take the 41 megapixels and then you combine 7 adjacent pixels into 1 pixel. So literally that 1 pixel has 7 pixels making up it.
Okay.
So basically, you just dumbed it down to 8 megapixels.
Not dumbed it down because you don't lose any you don't lose any detail at all.
Yeah.
So is it even fair to say 41 megapixels?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
So-
it's not. It's very disingenuous. Like they could have, but it's a great number to say in your campaign. Oh, we have 41 megapixels in our phone.
It's just a marketing scheme.
Yeah.
But if I was a Nokia shareholder, I'd be furious that they released this phone because they were so proud.
Furious that they released this phone, or furious that they didn't put this kind of quality camera in the other phones?
Because they said that this technology will reach Windows other platforms, but there are only other platforms Windows Phone.
I know, but if a Nokia Lumia 900 had this camera in there with the new Windows logo and the sleek black matted display, and you throw an Instagram on there.
Oh my God, no! Don't ruin those photos of fucking Instagram.
and Nike Plus, because I need my Nike Plus out because I'm always using it for biking and
I
riding.
use Workout Tracker on my Windows Phone. Works great.
He always like.
But because they were so proud of this phone, which they should be. They're very proud of their cameras. But this camera has been. But why you asked is on Symbian because they've been working on this for 5 years.
But they knew Symbian wasn't
Exactly.
gonna
Like
go anywhere.
if they worked on this for 5 years already, why not just save the extra 1 year until Windows Phone can support this camera? Because right now Windows Phone can't support this camera. That's why they couldn't put it on. And by the time they jumped on the Windows Phone bandwagon, Windows Phone was kind of already done.
You think Windows Phone? Oh,
Like the build that they were jumping on, Mango, was done. It was finalized. Nokia won't have a say until Apollo, which ships this fall. But that's when we'll see a Pureview with this camera. They should have just waited.
I could see you having 2 phones in your pocket: a Lumia 900 and then this 808.
No, but that's my God.
I just take pictures.
But they just created an Osborne effect for me. I'm not going to buy a Lumia 900 anymore. I'm going to wait till this Pureview camera comes onto Windows Phone.
I think it's
He's
going
still
to
buying
take.
a Lumia 900.
I think it would take more than. I probably by the time you might as well you'd be out of a 2-year contract.
What? I don't sign contracts.
I'm just saying, if I did sign up for a new Lumia, 900.
You don't think that technology will go into Windows Phone quickly?
No.
I'm going to put it to fall.
Well, allegedly the Lytro camera technology.
But the Lytro camera is crap.
It's not that bad.
It's crap.
It's
It's complete crap.
What do you think, Alex? Have you seen a Lytro camera?
I have not, but
It's
what
a
he's
pho-
saying here
it's a camera that takes 1 megapixel photos. The quality is crap, but the only catch is that you can refocus after your photo's taken,
not 1 megapixel. No.
and it's $500.
Well,
No,
no,
not for
I'm
that
saying the
price.
technology.
The technology, yes.
The technology
if
of
they
it being
improve-
put into an iPhone camera.
Okay, but how long will that take to get into the camera? At least Nokia has a viable product now. You think Apple will put a 1 megapixel camera in the next iPhone with this technology?
No, I
Going
think they'll take their
backwards.
autofocusing, some of that, technology and throw it into what they have now.
But in order for Lytro to get that technology, have you seen the Lytro camera?
It's square and round.
It's
almost
square
like one
and
of
like
those.
that thick.
Oh, what do you call those? Oh, they were like those things where you look into it. And
Kaleidoscopes?
Yeah, it looks like a kaleidoscope.
I see it here.
But that's how thick they have to make it in order to have this technology, to have that processing power to take in these images. Apple will never, until that technology shrinks down considerably, put a 1 megapixel camera and then say, oh, you can refocus after you take the photo, even though your photos are complete crap.
Yeah, at 1 megapixel, the photo's gonna be garbage anyway. So
That's not even enough to fill a computer screen.
nope, it'll be blurry.
Yeah. So,
Well, maybe on a phone screen.
maybe. No, because we have 720p screens now.
That's gonna be unfortunate. Never mind. It'll look awful.
But you know who made the biggest splash at MGC? A friend of mine. Do you know my friend, Chris? I think you know my friend.
Which one?
Guess. He's from The Verge.
Oh, yeah, Topowski.
No.
Oh,
He's British. Vlad Samal.
is it the guy who runs that website that you really hate? I forgot what it was called.
No, not him.
Oh,
No, but he's fine. Yeah, you don't know him.
no, I don't.
But he's a British reporter for The Verge.
Was it the guy who did the review of the Lumia 900
Yes.
white one?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, then I know. I've seen some of his work.
I've seen some of his work. He tweeted the most true tweet. He's like, I spent the last 3 days, no sleep, maybe 6 hours of sleep in the last 3 days to cover MWC, get all these exclusive interviews with this top CEOs, and all of a sudden, the announcement of Apple's iPad just totally overshadowed everything. In an announcement, Apple announced that they're going to announce the iPad on March 7th, and they sent out invitations. Do you see the invitation yet?
No.
Which is next week. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What, Friday?
Yeah, iPad 3
No,
invitation.
Friday is the 9th.
What time's the event?
Probably like 10 o'clock. They usually do it around 10.
Yeah, they usually do it around 10.
It's a Wednesday.
No, wait, what time is every Apple phone set to in their demos? Because that's the time they always do it.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to this.
It's usually 12 o'clock.
Is it 12?
Oh, 12 o'clock over in California. And it's usually like...
No, let me see. Just Google.
I know it's over here. It's usually around 1 o'clock. That they're
So it's 10 a.m. over there.
Yeah, it's 10.
No, just look up an iPhone photo. Like, it'll have a standard time on it, and that's the time they always use.
10:23.
Yeah, it's always... What is that? This 9:41. They always do 9. They always announce the product at 9:41. The event starts at 9:30, and they announce the product on the dot at 9:41.
So you just ramble on for a good 20 minutes.
Yeah, they ramble on.
10 minutes.
Call it magical, call it revolutionary 3 times fast, and then yeah. Did you look at the invitation?
No, I haven't seen it yet. It's on... Where is it?
Just look up iPad 3 invitations. Oh, I spelled invitation wrong.
I got Invasion.
I spelled invitationios.
iPad 3.
It's this. It's this invitation.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I was seeing that.
Alex, have you seen this invitation?
We have something you
yeah, I
really
did. That's an
have
invitation,
to
though?
see.
What do you think? What do you get from this invitation?
Well, obviously it's an iPad 3. Because
I know, obviously, that I've had 3, but
Well,
like,
no,
background
it's
is
it's gonna be C.
But you know, what I found interesting though. There's no home button. Look at the invitation.
You sure
There's
it's not
no
upside
home-
down?
Why would they be using their own iPad upside down?
I don't know.
And there's more to this than meets the eye. I mean, I might be overanalyzing here, but we have something that you have to really see. I really think the next Apple TV is going to be shown off this event too.
And touch.
C can either refer to the Apple TV or the Retina display on the iPad. But I'm leaning...
So you think they will do a Retina display on the iPad?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's confirmed at this point.
Because you said...
Will they be able to keep up with demand?
I know you say it would be feasible.
I still don't think they're going to be able to keep up with the demand. Like, if they get sold out on day 1 or day 2, they're not going to be able to get new shipments fast enough.
Yeah, that's true. But you have something we could see and really touch. I mean, usually have... I heard that the Apple TVs are out of stock right now.
Yeah, until March 7th.
So, seeing could be the new
Yeah, so
but they still said it was a hobby Apple TV.
And they really haven't made any big plunges.
To reinvamp this means, it's not a hobby anymore. We're taking a personal interest into it.
But what are they going to do? They can't really make a TV. Do you think they're going to make a TV?
Sony made a TV.
No, but not Sony. But
I mean, are you talking like their Apple TV built into a TV? Are we talking about full product
Apple TV,
full monitor, they're a
full 46-inch TV?
Apple TV.
I mean, they have the technology.
But I don't see them getting into that game because all of their technologies now are built around the basis that you will buy them every year.
We never thought Apple would get into the phone game.
It was inevitable. The moment we know. The moment the iPod was released, everybody was like, "This would be so cool on a phone," and the rumor mill started that Apple was starting on an iPod phone, and you knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, but you didn't think the same thing when the Apple TV came out. It's like, this is really cool, but it'd be cool if it was a standalone device built into a TV.
But the problem with the Apple TV is the Apple TV now is pretty affordable. It's $100.
I thought it was like 80. Oh, 80 open box.
It's $100 brand new, right?
It's not bad because if you think about it, you get the Roku box, you have the
it's not bad at all.
The Western Digital box. They're all multimedia devices that play Netflix, Hulu, and access the Amazon store.
And then AirPlay made a big selling point. But if they do make this TV, how often do you think they're going to iterate it? Because they can't iterate a TV every year. People don't buy new TVs every year.
No, so
that's why
they'd have to keep up with updates software-wise.
But how far can those software updates take? Look at the 3G. It could barely handle 2 major revisions.
Maybe they're redoing the TV store.
Software? You think they're going to revamp it?
Maybe because the Apple TV software sucks ass.
Yeah, I mean, probably they're going to I think they're going to do... I don't know the hardware, though. What would you do hardware-wise? I don't understand. Then the Apple TV is fine the way it is. But
do you think it's going to be like game consoles, where when game consoles come out, their hardware is a couple of years ahead of its time, and then games kind of just grow into the hardware?
I mean, that's kind of how the Xbox did. It was way ahead of its time. I mean, it came out when we were in middle school, but now
the PS3 and the Xbox 360 were way ahead of their time.
The PS3 took a long time for it to be integrated into actual... I mean, I think Sony took a huge loss on the PS3.
Well,
this is why I can't have a plastic phone.
You know why Sony took a loss on the PS3? Because how game systems work is the company will always sell the game system to you at a loss, and
$800 was a loss?
No, that's the point. They always sell it to you at a loss, and then when you buy games, they take a chunk before the publisher gets the money, and that's how they recuperate the cost of the game system. But Sony wanted to try something different and did not want to lose money on their PlayStation 3.
And make money on game sales.
And let's see how far that got them.
Yeah, it did.
It didn't get them far anywhere until they cut a loss. They lose $18 for every PlayStation 3 they sell.
I mean, that's a lot less than compare what they were losing not selling any PlayStation 3s.
Yeah, they were losing $800 before not selling.
I think I lose $18 overall.
And they're just hoping that every game that gets sold, they get maybe 10 cents or something for their cut.
Okay. Those games are expensive.
No, because
$60.
The game has to get cut between the store, the publisher, and then Sony.
And Sony sounds like it's only getting a very small amount.
Sony is getting a tiny sliver of these game portions. Most of it's going to the retailer and the studio.
That's why also they kind of make Sony the Move and stuff like that because that's their proprietary software.
So they can make money off of that.
Yeah. But back to going to Apple. I mean, I think it's Apple TV definitely because they're out of stock. Apple The iPad 3 is
But
definitely going
I
to be
guess the
there.
question is, like, with the Apple TV, will it be an integrated TV or another box? I'm edging towards
Is it
the
me, or
box.
is this kind of like the ugliest invitation we've seen?
This is the picture.
It looks like
No, this is the first Apple Picture invitation that has the product on the invitation.
they always had the product.
No,
on
they've
it.
never had the
Those
product.
iPod
It was
ones, or like
texture.
No,
the whole event.
no, like the iPod events were always the silhouettes. They never showed the iPod. The iPhone events were just the iOS icons, like the map icon to Cupertino, the weather
This
icon.
is still not even a full product shot. It's still just
No, but the fact that they actually show a part of the iPad.
Here's a question: you think that's the new iPad 3 right there?
Yes,
That screen right there?
totally. Why wouldn't they?
They analyzed that picture as well, and they kind of
They would shoot themselves in the foot if it wasn't.
If this wasn't just a standard shot of an iPad.
Yeah, if it was just a standard shot. Apple doesn't like to do placeholders. Apple's not a company that BS's around like that.
So how we have confirmation? So there is no home. I mean,
and we all know it's an iPad 3
almost
event.
the home button is
so-
a little bit where her thumb is, and it's hiding it, hovering over it.
Yeah, where is the home button?
Exactly, that's my question. What did they come up with a capacitive button this time? Or
What if all the buttons are capacitive?
because what the funny thing is? I think the home button is the least intuitive thing on an iPhone.
Do you think we're going to see heavy companionship with the iPad 3 and the Apple TV together?
Or we didn't talk about Windows 8 yet, but this is a great way to tie in. Like, you know how Windows 8 is all gesture based?
Mhm.
What if they want to smack at Microsoft and make this whole iPad gesture based?
It'd be a shot in the dark.
I mean, because the home button is okay intuitive. You press it, you get home. That's simple, right?
Yeah.
But nobody, like, I had a friend for a year.
Well, they did have their gestures that they were slowly
The
incorporating.
bear
into
claw gestures.
the bear claw, the swipe. So to take that to another level, I think it would have to be a new system.
Yeah, like maybe one finger this time and not a bear claw.
I like the bear claw.
But I had a friend who had her iPhone 3GS for a year, and she did not know that if you double tap the home button, it would go to the multitasking bar. Because never in your life do you because I think the whole issue,
I never knew if you double tap the home button, you could lock the screen from tilting.
Really?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, I thought that was. I thought that was.
Oh,
not on you.
I thought that was
That's
only in the iPad because it had the the button on
But
the
this
side.
is how I put it. Like, if Apple prides itself on like personal computing, right, and natural user interface, the only time I see myself pushing extra buttons is on the elevator when I'm frustrated and I want the door to close.
You don't
Which
want that
doesn't work, by the way.
So in my mind, pressing buttons multiple times means frustration. Pressing the home button twice to get to my multitasking bar, it's very, very unintuitive.
I mean, you kind of. Yeah.
No argument there.
Because, a lot of the multitasking you can pull. You have the multitasking bar, which you pull down.
No, that's a notification
Oh,
bar,
notification bar. But to
which
have.
is ugly as sin on the iPhone. It's almost as bad. I think the ugliest app I rate is Game Center because with that
I
stupid
hate
felt.
Game Center and Newsstand because you can't delete them.
No, this is what I feel about Game Center. I'm
Wow.
like
Mhm.
I want to go to a Microsoft guy, the head of Windows Phone. I want to go to him and say, pick up an iPhone, look at the atrocity that is Game Center, and make Xbox Live better than that.
Xbox Live is automatically better than that.
Yeah, but they have
Anything you do is better than what Game Center is. I think that's a hobby itself. Apple doesn't pride itself on games. It's more.
No, but they're going that way. They're not going to build a console like Microsoft, but they're going to build this Apple TV like, oh, you already have this iPod Touch, you have this iPhone, you have this iPad. Why not link them all together and do multiplayer over the Apple TV and AirPlay?
That could be because they probably take a shot at Sony with doing its all jump in and jump out of games.
And then Windows 8 and Xbox has you can play Xbox games on your Windows PC.
No, it's the Xbox Companion's not that.
Is it not?
No, you can control your Xbox from your PC.
So no utilization of the what keys do you use?
What do you mean?
Like, there's a game in the Xbox store right now on Windows 8.
Uh-huh.
I forget one. It's one of those racing games. So basically, if I connected my Xbox to it, what would happen?
How this would work is like the Xbox Companion app on Windows 8 works exactly like the Xbox Companion app on Windows Phone 7, where you can browse movies and videos and pictures and whatnot, multimedia things, right?
Right.
And then if you want to share them with your friends on an Xbox in the living room, it just beams it over.
Well, it says play on the thing, so I'm like, okay, let's play.
Yeah, you play the video.
The video.
video.
But it wouldn't even let me watch the video because I wasn't connected to an Xbox.
We're not at that point where game system. I mean, not on laptop systems. Maybe like a hardcore built desktop can play Xbox games, but not laptops.
Because it kind of gave me this illusion.
You think laptops would be at that point now? Because if you look at it, I think we're getting away from desktops. A lot of people don't have desktops
Unless
in their house
you're a hardcore gamer
anymore. Or if you do Photoshop, some people like to have Photoshop or video editing like to have a desktop. But if we're coming to nowadays where the netbook, the small MacBook Air, just small laptops that have a lot of power
Ultrabooks.
in it. Ultrabooks. What was it? The Arco? Not the Arcos. What was the Lenovo? Lenovo
U300.
PCs. Yeah, those.
That thin one. Yeah, the U300.
The ones that are on the verge. They're like marketing a lot.
Yeah, the U300.
Yeah,
the best Ultrabook.
I mean, I think we're trying to get away from desktops as total.
I told him when I saw this Windows, I wanted to talk a little about. Are we done with Apple?
Well, okay.
Okay, well, let's continue with Apple as we incorporate this.
All right, yeah.
iPad 3 will be announced March 7th, this Wednesday coming up, and so we will.
That makes perfect sense because every iPad event's on a Wednesday.
Yes.
We covered it on Friday.
It hasn't always been in March, has it?
It was March. The iPad. I did research. It was the iPad 1 was in January, and then the iPad 2 was in March.
So I think they're sticking with the March.
Because I remember.
So they pushed it back
because the first one came out in March, right?
The first one came out in January.
iPad came out in January?
Yeah, the first iPad came out in January. Remember, you update your website.
Oh, that's right.
January 2010.
The iPad 1 came out in January, and then the iPad 2 was a lot quieter than the iPad 1, and it came out in March.
Yeah, it was a lot thinner too.
Yeah. But now they're being very loud about the iPad 3.
Dude, are we going to see camera improvements in the iPad?
I would hope to see the iPhone 4's camera make its way to the iPad 3.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Because I still see a handful of people trying to take pictures with their iPad,
and then all the pictures look like crap.
They just look goofy taking a photo with a tablet.
And that 1 megapixel sensor is crap.
It is. There's your Lytro.
There's
see, you want that? Apple's already there. They can incorporate the Lytro into the iPad.
I can see it on the iPad, but maybe not on the iPhone.
iPad. My predictions right now are Retina display.
But physical TV?
No, I'm doing it on my iPad.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the event itself.
Oh, do you want to talk about the event?
Yeah, let's talk about things that you're going to see at the event for sure.
For sure on iPad 3.
Yeah, definitely.
With a Retina display, with a better camera, with LTE. I think I'm going to see LTE. And then I want to say no home button. I want to say no home button so bad.
Or capacitive home button.
No, I want to see them do away with the home button altogether.
If they bring LTE to the iPad 3, is that a sign that they'll bring LTE to the iPhone 5?
Oh yeah, the iPad's like a testing bay for like the iPhone because the iPad has such a huge battery. They don't care that if LTE drains your battery, we have a humongous battery to counteract that.
Mm-hmm.
So
and then Apple TV, you don't think anything?
Apple TV, I think it's going to be a standalone box.
What about the box? Do you think it's going to be revamped? Is it the software?
It's just going to be a software.
A new software update.
Either that, they can either announce a software update to the Apple TVs out now, because the Apple TVs out now run the exact same hardware as the iPhone 4, minus the camera and the radio. They run the A4 chip, so they could upgrade to ISO 5.
Siri, and Apple TV. Being able to talk to your Apple TV?
No, that gets stupid because remember Kinect tries to do the same thing.
How would you even communicate with your Apple TV?
But think about it, you would just...
Kinect works fine. You look retarded doing it, but it works fine.
Or they would build a microphone inside their remote control.
Well, how would... And then press the button.
But the remote control is the iPhone.
No, there's the little standalone, the proprietary white little...
Everybody uses that.
Well, yeah, but just imagine if they revamped that, though.
Oh, you remind me of the pad phone at MWC.
But
let me quickly plug in the pad phone, okay?
No,
this is gonna let me be a little out there right now. This is gonna shit over the iPad. It's a phone you plug into.
We're trying to get in the App Store. Just we're gonna have to change the explicit tag.
It's a phone.
In kind words.
It's a phone you plug into a tablet that you plug into a keyboard dock. And then it has a stylus that when you get a call on the tablet mode, you put the stylus up to your ear and you talk into it like James Bond.
It sounds like that
Boom.
that phone that you plug into that loading dock.
You mean like what Motorola's trying to do but sucked?
Yeah.
But this is actually going to be good. You plug like the phone ice cream sandwich into the tablet, and it becomes the tablet ice cream sandwich, which sucks. But I mean, it's better. It's better than what Motorola's doing. Okay, let's just put it that way.
I don't know. So you don't think Siri at all would be implemented?
Eventually, but not in the remote way.
Not right now.
No, because like, do you have a Connect?
Yes.
It's like to talk to it, you have to say Xbox first.
Yes, but I think you can get out of that. Like, I haven't used the iPhone 4S. Like, do you have to say Siri?
No, you just hold the home button.
So I mean, you just hold. How about your built-in microphone inside the Apple TV? So you hold the home button down in that control.
But that defeats the purpose of hands-free voice.
You shouldn't have to press anything.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to press anything in order to activate voice control.
You should just be able to say it.
Yeah, like Connect with you go Xbox
I think you have
Play, Xbox.
Because you got to turn on. I mean, you got to unlock your phone. You're just gonna be like, you have to. And then if you do voice, it has to be set to a specific one. Because if you just say, if I had like a whole row of iPads and I just said
Siri,
Siri, and then all of them unlock, and then start at hello simultaneously in a choruses of Siris, it's.
But you're not going to have a line of Xboxes in a living room. You're not going to have a line of Apple TVs in a living room.
I'm never going to... If you have two Xboxes in a room and you say Xbox Connect, is it with Connect, they both activate at the same time?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's the same
Who's
thing.
going to name one person who has two Xboxes in the same room?
I would think you'd have to have a certain unique code word that hopefully nobody would say at the same time.
Well, first I want to know which one of Chris's friends has two Xboxes in one room.
Point.
In one room?
Yeah, in one room.
I mean...
With two Connects.
Yeah, with two Connects in the same room, in the same proximity.
I know one friend who has, like, his room's really close to the living room. So, like, the living room has
That's fine, then.
an Xbox and then a Connect, and then his room is, like, here's the living room, and then right behind the living room is literally his room.
I'm sorry, my viewers. You can't see what Chris is trying to do with his hands.
You
can't really see the diagram.
Soon we'll get video.
Yeah.
But let's go back to the iPad announcement. I definitely think the iPad 3 is going to have a Retina display. It's going to have a better front-facing camera and a better back camera. It's going to be a lot faster. Maybe no capacitive button.
Do you think it's quad-core or dual-core?
Quad.
Really? No doubt about it?
Yeah.
Probably.
Because a second Apple A5 chip pop.
I've heard from a source. It's going to be probably quad-core.
Who's your source?
My source is someone who holds a good chunk of Apple stock.
Okay.
No names will be revealed.
No names.
Okay.
I can just say he does run a
then you should know everything.
company in Silicon Valley.
Are you talking about Tim Cook?
No. Kevin Rose.
Lost my thought there. So you think it's gonna be quad core? But why would they? I can't. It's most likely gonna be quad core.
Everything is getting towards quad core.
It's going to be I'm expecting quad core, but I wouldn't be. Let me put it this way: I'm expecting quad core, but I won't be surprised if it's a dual core with a better GPU.
If you're doing quad core though,
what are the advantages of quad core?
I mean, wouldn't you have to handle if it's for handling a lot more gestures?
No, because that's CPU. A dual core is way more capable of that. The original iPad can do gestures on a single core.
Okay.
The only thing I see, like, with more core, you can fit a better GPU in, and GPU will increase your gaming significantly.
I mean, if they're going to go towards the gaming base...
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, they can either
do you think their GPU would help when streaming videos for AirPlay?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, either they have a quad core or they have a dual core with a better GPU. It's not impossible to put a better GPU in a dual core.
No. But I think you just take that extra step and might as well go quad.
But look at the iPhone to the iPhone 4S. They put a dual core in that one and didn't need it, and look at the battery life.
It's pretty terrible.
Yeah. It took a significant drop.
I mean, I feel like now my iPhone 4 is not getting enough battery life. Maybe
your battery's just wearing out.
I think so.
Overuse.
Yeah, look at Alex's battery. He's always empty every time we come here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I left the house at 100%. We are at 78, actually. That's not pretty... I haven't been using it, though, so...
I don't know, but mine's been almost 2 years now, right? Because I bought it last year.
Almost. Yeah, because around the time the iPhone 5 is going to come out this summer.
So it'll be going on 2, or maybe because I bought mine last senior summer. So senior.
Well, a battery is supposed to be able to hold up to at least 1,000 charges and discharges.
So I think I've probably passed 1,000 charges.
You charge more than 1,000?
Yeah.
I mean,
From empty to full to empty to full?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many?
From completely empty?
Yes.
Oh, I don't
That's
think I've
considered
ever.
a full
It's
charge.
always I always let it at half, and I keep.
Well, because this is like if you use it half and then charge it and then use it half the other day and charge it, that's one charge because that's 50 equals 100.
I know my dad he has the car charger, so you're constantly charging it, taking it out of there, and then plugging into the home
Yeah, that's
charger.
bad.
Yeah, keeping your phone or laptop plugged in at the same constantly is bad.
Unless you have a smart battery,
Yeah.
Which
I think that's what happens.
which my laptop has.
okay, all right.
We can go into a whole show of what's wrong with your laptop.
Yeah.
Really? You want to do this right now with better specs than your laptop?
We're already pushing an hour.
Okay. Okay. Wrapping up iPad, and then I want to talk to Alex about the Canon 5D Mark III went
I think you want to
official.
wrap up with Windows 8.
Oh, great!
yeah,
that's
what's
also on the list.
Okay, this is all you need to know about Windows 8. It's beautiful. It's so much better than Developer Preview. I'm using it as my daily driver right now. Alex can vouch for me. It's beautiful. It
I
works
would be
great.
using it right now if I had the
I
Wi-Fi
think
password.
it's really
Just saying.
clean cut, but I think the average consumer is going to be
No,
pretty.
But I think that's a good thing, though. It'll get them to move on.
But
I
I
think
think they're going to be frustrated
No,
with
I
the
think
UI.
no, you know what? They're going to be frustrated with the UI, but not because it's bad. They're going to be frustrated because it's different, which is good. People are frustrated with old Windows, like Windows XP and Windows Vista,
Some
because
people-
they crash.
If it's been going well so long with the same thing, just to throw it in with no introduction, no tutorial video.
Well, it's simple, though.
I mean,
people
Apple
should be able
shows.
to pick it
Apple
up.
always has great videos at tutorial that show you on their
no,
website.
I think Apple devices like the iPad are at the point where like a 3-year-old can pick it up and learn how to know how to use it.
Exactly. With this Windows, the new Windows 8 update, how long
Well,
the average person who's not tech savvy, how long do you think you're going to spend trying to figure it out? How to make folders and click and drag,
Max, to be honest, 15 minutes.
It was not that hard for me to
Yeah,
figure
to be
out.
honest, 15
But
minutes.
you guys are heavy tech savvy.
No, my dad uses Windows 8, and my dad is definitely not tech savvy.
I showed my dad Windows 8, and I think he would catch on really quickly.
He said it, my dad, in his own words, it's more intuitive than the iPad. Because the iPad, I have to click the home button too many times in order to do what I want.
Everything's just there once you go to start. Like, the whole Metro style.
My
app.
dad loves swiping because he's like, I've always wanted to swipe on my iPad, but he's like when I taught him the bear claw, he's like, I feel like I'm afraid I'm gonna drop it
When you bear claw,
because you're holding it with one hand and you're like, with Windows 8, you just
he's got some weak hands. I hold my iPad. Well, I have it in its case, but even if I hold the first one, it's pretty thick enough that
okay.
you.
What would you rather do? Hold it with one hand, bear claw to get back to the home screen, or hold with both hands while you're using and then just swipe, just with your thumbs. No lifting your hands.
I think I'd rather bear claw because sometimes, my thumb touches the screen a lot. I feel like it constantly be swiping out of into.
It has to be a very specific swipe. You can't just touch the
It
screen.
would be.
Yeah, you have to make it super known to swipe.
See, well,
No.
You can't just go back and forth between the
you might
touch.
as well just take your hand off and just do your index finger.
But that's even more stable than trying because when you're using 4 fingers,
But you're having one hand on it then.
okay. But when you're using a bear claw, you're like pushing into the iPad trying to do the bear claw.
I mean, look, bear claw.
That's sitting on a table.
Okay. Oh, I can't actually. This 15-inch MacBook
Bear
Pro is
claw.
kinda
It's simple.
Okay,
We
see.
can't.
We'll
can't.
let the market
start
decide.
doing the little crunchers.
Wanna
I
try it
think
with this
anything
one?
more than 3 fingers is way too hard. How many people know about the bear claw? How many people know about 4-finger swipe back and forth from the iPad?
How many people are going to know about Windows 8 and how to swipe and do everything? Are they going to show you how to do that? Are they going to tell you how to do that? Or is that something you should just instantly know?
It'll probably be exactly like Windows Phone when you first turn it on.
But how many people know about Windows Phone who don't have
no,
Windows
I'm
Phone?
saying Windows Phone when you first turn it on, it's like you can swipe here and you can swipe here.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
that's like
well-
any phone back in the day, how they used to give you to set up the touch screen. It's like tap here, tap here, tap here, tap here.
Well, to calibrate. Well, you don't need that anymore.
Well, I'm thinking this is just the beta, the consumer preview. Once Windows
Yeah,
8
this
is
is
announced,
beta. Why are we even digging too deep? Like, the official thing's not going to ship till October, and God knows, like, from September to now, how many months is that?
September to now, good 6 months now.
Yeah, and in 6 months, they went a far way. From the developer preview that was buggy and crashy,
To consumer.
To consumer, that's like my daily driver.
There are
now.
drastic changes between
There
those
are
two.
huge changes, and there's going to be huge changes
Between the
from
consumer.
now to when it releases.
So,
I just want to see I just want to definitely like pull someone off the the streets and see what their daily,
Hey, Microsoft's doing a very good job of getting Windows 8 news covered. I'm like this is the first time I've seen a Microsoft news on like the front page of USA Today.
Well, I'm talking about like everyday news. Like I would like to see Channel 7. Like, hey, Windows 8 definitely changing. It's something basic. I know. Maybe that's something we have to do. Maybe do like a street episode of Tech Out Loud. And just
I'm afraid of letting anybody around these streets touch a fairly
just
expensive
John,
object.
Just get
hi, would you like to
And
sponsor
research-
us and give us a free
in
laptop
Research Park,
test?
really,
Oh, okay. Research Park around here is
Okay.
nice.
or UCF in general. I mean,
Oh, well, you just want those college girls dropping stuff.
I know, but you just use everyday. You have to kind of find a person that doesn't look as tech savvy, who looks like they have a
But we
phone
need
that's kind of
a
having.
tablet for that,
Yeah.
and we'll wait.
No, I would just say Windows when a desktop client comes out. Have you used it? Have you heard of it? Have you seen it? What do you think? What are your expectations?
and if
do
they
you-
say no,
Then we move on and
You just
find
move
someone
on
else.
until you find someone else who's willing to do it. I mean, look at Josh Topolsky when he did the On the Verge in the
the
street.
Kindle Fire.
Yeah, a lot of people would just brush him off.
Yeah. Okay. Let's wrap it up
Yeah.
soon. Alex, last topic before we cut off. Canon 5D Mark III went official last night. It was kind of breaking. Like at 12 in the morning, Canon released this press conference. I'm like, what, Canon? I'm about to go to bed, please.
Oh, I was at bed in like maybe 10:30,
Mark III, huge improvement over the Mark II.
and he doesn't sleep. Just to let people know.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't sleep. I get like the most I've ever slept once was 6 hours. I slept 4 hours last night.
Yeah, he averages 4.
Yeah, I averaged 4.
That can't be good.
No.
Trust me, I plan to die by 40 anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Die by 40?
Yeah, who wants to live past 40?
I would.
Yeah.
Live life on the edge.
I guess so.
On the verge.
I gotta
Yes, live life on, the verge.
You gotta have money to live life on the verge. I'm just saying, you can't be broke and on the verge.
Yes, you can.
It's called, if you're going to die by 40, you might as well take out all the loans you can.
Yeah.
Exactly. But anyways, Canon 5D Mark III,
$3,000 or
$3,500. $3,500 just body. And Canon specifically said the 5D Mark II will significantly drop in price.
Something Andy might be able to afford now.
No, I think I'm just gonna say 5D Mark III.
He's going to go
How
for
much
it?
does the D Mark II do video?
Yeah, the Mark II was the first camera to ever do video.
And how much is it now?
I don't know about the right now. It's 2,300 body only, but with the price drop, it's probably gonna be 70 territory, 1,700.
So is that so
That's
pricey?
super cheap for a full frame camera. That's like a steal. They're begging you to steal it.
Basically, what's going to happen is he's going to buy the Mark III, and I might as well get the Mark II.
I think I might get a Mark II.
Yeah, like the only problem with the Mark II is its autofocus system, which they fix.
That's why your Mark II is probably going to cost more. It's going to cost more than your car.
My camera right now costs more than my car.
That's right.
That's true.
My phone costs more than my car.
This laptop.
A lot of things cost more
A lot
than
of
your
things
car.
cost
Almost
more
every
than your...
electronic I own costs more than my car.
He
just
except
found-
my watch.
He just
Yeah.
found out his car was cheaper than he thought.
Yeah. But the Mark III significantly improved. They before in the Mark II there was a limit that you can only record 12 minutes of video because the file system could only support 4 gigs at a time. Now the Mark III you can record up to 30 minutes,
Which is a big change.
which is a huge change. And then the Mark II had significant autofocusing issues, like it would,
So wait, the second one, the first one, only 30 minutes
what
of video you can record. That's it.
the Mark II is 12 minutes
12 minutes. That's it of video.
at a time. Like you can only record 12 minutes at a time of video.
Why? Because I don't understand. Is
Because-
it so big that the file?
No, because the cards are written in a FAT32 format, and FAT32 limits transfers at 4 gigs.
Okay.
So you can't transfer anything more than 4 gigs, and 4 gigs is roughly 12 minutes of video.
So do you shoot a lot of 12-minute videos, and then you just
Well, when we're making like
Well, yeah, when you're making videos, you never shoot more than 10 minutes in one angle.
okay.
Never, ever. So it wasn't that big of an issue. But if you want multi-angle support, it's a boon because now you can just set one camera there and like take one camera and move everywhere else.
Would you buy 2 Mark IIs?
Yeah, I would totally buy 2 Mark IIs. I buy a Mark III, and then for the standalone camera, and then I buy a Mark II for...
How's the quality in a Mark II?
Beautiful.
Really?
Gorgeous. They shoot house with Mark II.
Yeah, they did. One of the season
And
finales.
that's a standalone? Or, like, with just out of the box?
I'm sure they used some.
I'm pretty sure they use different lenses.
Okay.
But the video quality is the same no matter what lens you use. It's just the lens give you more, you know...
They probably use an external audio source as well.
Yeah.
If it's 1700, then I might have to sell the D40. And,
the D40 doesn't compare.
Well, no,
Just
just
saying.
you know, try to break it down as much as I can to the point where I could just pay out of pocket for it.
The Mark II had 9 auto-focusing points, which means you can only autofocus on 9 points. The Mark III has 61. So basically, no matter what your photo is, you can focus anywhere on the photo.
Believe it or not, you know, since you guys have your high quality cameras, I still like using the flip, the HD.
Oh.
The ones they discontinued.
Yeah, the ones that they discontinued. The
I
one
mean,
that I
it's
use
just-
as a microphone.
That's a good point and shoot camera.
I like that it's small. I like that it's pocketable. But the quality wasn't that great. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't that great.
I think it was
It was
good for
720,
those
right?
the
Yeah,
people.
720.
That was the full, but as I said, it did 1080 for some reason.
No, it was only 720.
Okay.
For some reason, I thought they targeted like 12 to 15-year-old.
Yeah, but that was before the iPod Touch could do 720 video.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
even though the image quality can't compare, I mean, apps versus a standalone camera.
True.
On that mark, we should probably end it. No pun intended on that mark.
Lol.
I'm so funny and lame. This podcast.
We love you in this tech community. Tech
Yeah, we all
Out
love
Loud
you.
family.
For all of you who are listening, because we should be on the iTunes store today. I probably should have
I
said
don't know if
that.
we're going to be on the iTunes store today because
No.
this is a long episode.
not a promise.
Okay, well, this is not our longest episode, though.
Yeah.
We had an hour 30 minutes once.
Did we?
Yeah.
What episode?
I don't remember.
What episode? It sounds
What
like we've
episode?
been shooting for a long time
This is
now.
our 21st episode.
Yay,
Is
we're
it?
21.
This is our
21.
21st episode.
We're allowed to drink. Let's go.
We should. Let's get a lemon ginger toddy.
Okay, we're
Okay.
all underage. Let's not.
No, they don't know how old we are. Damn it, Alex.
Some of us are older now.
Okay. Thanks so much. You can contact us on Twitter at checkoutloud. Twitter.com/checkoutloud. Tweet us, please. Our Twitter account is empty.
It is. It's
And
very
Gmail,
sad.
our Gmail account.
No, let's
Leave out the
let's
Gmail.
scrap out the Gmail for
Our
now.
fans of Check Out Loud.
Yeah,
at
that's
gmail.com?
so long.
So,
Why couldn't we just leave tech?
if you love us that much, you would do it.
Yeah.
But apparently nobody loves us that much yet.
Oh, wait, you just tore into our viewers.
I'm just saying. I mean,
It's a
those
little-
who listen really love us, but they don't love us enough to email us.
I know.
Hey, our Facebook page is also very quiet. So
Yeah.
No, people like our posts.
you mean?
Are
when was
you
the last time
are
somebody-
you on the? Are you controlling the main?
I have
here?
not uploaded the last
I haven't-
because I've been busy.
Okay, because
But definitely this
I
one.
know I can't do it because I don't put
Yeah,
enough detail.
because you just post like, "Hey, listen."
Hey, check
One
out
of
this.
your-
No, I'm like, check out this new episode.
Yeah. The last person who liked one of our things was one of your relatives.
Oh, it's my mom.
Oh, okay. Then there you go.
Okay. Anyways, but you can catch us on Facebook at Tech Out Loud. Remember,
Hey, family support is
Family support is
awesome
amazing,
yes.
on this show.
Um.
You should get your dad to listen.
Oh, my dad's not gonna listen.
Your Facebook pages. So anyway.
My dad hates technology. He's sad when he has to use his laptop.
Well, I mean, it's
He's
old.
referred to our desktop as the mainframe.
the main for
Yeah, and then every time he's like, "Dad, can you use the desktop?" He's like, "Do I?" I'm like, "Dad, you have to use the computer." He's like, "Do I have to use the mainframe?" And he sounds sad when he says it.
Maybe that's
That's why he loves his iPad, and he's gonna love and he loves Windows 8.
Apparently, it's going time.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Facebook page is going timeline, and they're inserting ads. That's all you need to know. Everybody. But on that note, we have our Twitters too. If you don't like Facebook, I'm at Anding, NDDNGIT. Christopher Wallen is at Chris Wallen, capital C, capital W, and Alex Weston is at Alex Weston. Instead of an O is a 0.
take a breath.
Take a breath, take a breath. Thanks so much, guys, and we're out of time. We'll see you guys next time. See ya.